Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ABA Progs for our 2030 season. As we leave the decade here, we're joined by I think one of our largest prog audiences. So you'll hear them probably throughout. As per usual, this is being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube. So whatever they say, they've all agreed with that understanding that if they say and they want to participate, it will be uploaded here. So what we were going to do is we're going to sim, and then we're going to auto sort all the lineups and reset the playing time to start up the season. And I just realized that there is a swear on here. Okay, cool. All right, until preseason we go. All right, progs are done. Are you guys ready? I'm certainly ready. With that, we will start with Anaheim, which I think
Yes,
this is
sir.
actually their first year, right? No. They were first last season too, because we have a few name changes. So, starting off, they got some pretty harsh progs from Byron and Max, but Brown stepping up. Shaheen is now under a 60. Ben went up big time and looks like he could be a future star. TJ Kumar going up as well. I mean, all of their caps had great progs. Nijis Man went up big time and looks like he could be a future star. You guys need to stop letting Hugh get all these future stars. But Ramian died, which is unfortunate. But overall, these aren't horrible progs, and as per usual, Anaheim will probably be in the Western Conference Finals. So there's that. Do we got any comments from Hugh here? Let me take a look. He just said rip raw. Yeah, he did not have a great progs. All right, next team up, Atlanta. These are actually really strong progs for them. Like Tracy Fiddler and Young are probably one of the best duos in the league now. They had some really great progs from their prospects. I mean, BB Kinney and Kai are now like a pretty hype duo. This this is going to be a pretty solid team this year, and they were pretty great last year. And they have now a lot of ammunition if they want to make trades or even, BB Kinney is like low key Troy Murphy, I think. Yeah, he's like low key Troy Murphy. And in case you guys don't know who that is, he was a 3-point shooting big man for the Indiana Pacers. But like he
in real life?
Yeah. If you check him out, he was I believe a one-time All-Star. But he like consistent like 19 points, like 8 rebounds.
Who the
But
hell?
with, like,
Troy Murphy?
Yeah.
How the hell I never heard of him?
Because the Indiana Pacers were not good in the 2000s.
That explains it.
Yep. All right, so next up is Baltimore. They got a great prog from Steve Nash. They actually went from a 0 to a 15. So that's actually like the fact is their roster's like basically in a rebuild but went all up. The really strange thing here is that Jar Jar Azara, despite being on a great contract, just did not go up, and they really lost a lot of their prospect value. But I wouldn't be too upset with this because Steve Nash and Goss both look pretty solid, and they can definitely build around this core and have an exciting season, I think. And they got a ton of cap space. So, next up is 1 second. Luke is sending me a lot of messages right now. Just going to close out Discord for a sec. Yo, somebody let me know if I need to pop on the Discord, but I'm going to close it out. 1 sec. Sorry about that, guys. Just when you get a lot of messages, you can't, access the bottom right. All right. Dr. J just went down. Ned Raj. These are okay progs, I guess. I mean, Boston's definitely going to be like in the contending realm this year. I think they're a little bit better than last year, to be honest. They're definitely deeper. But Dr. J not being a superstar is a little disappointing, I think. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on this are, but I think these weren't the worst progs for them. All right. Next up is Carolina. Taking a look at these progs, I think this is probably going to be Briggs' last season. I mean, he's really gone downhill the last few seasons, like completely. I think that sorry about that. I think that Jared Burleson is probably going to be one of their big stars this year, and I think that they actually have like one of their better starting lineups. But they're very thin at guard, with Miguel De Luna potentially being a starter this year, as Darrell Weaver is just gone from his old self. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in the day, he used to carry Milwaukee. But that's so long ago now. It's almost a decade, I think, right? Yeah, it's 9 seasons since he was a borderline MVP candidate. But it is what it is there.
They were the Celtics back then too, right?
Yeah. They were the Atlanta Celtics. So Charlotte, oh wow.
No way.
Anderson Duffy, in their first year in Charlotte, this is now their third rebranding, had Portland Trailblazer DBL Progs here. I mean, they have
Oh, Ryan Peel, why are we trading him away?
all of their starters went up. They have Oscar Willis, who in the
Damn.
end of his rookie year blew up here, or end of his rookie contract. I mean, these are amazing Progs. Anderson Duffy is now Charlotte is now in a really good place. If somebody wants to send this to Kevin or Kevin, this will probably make his day, because this would make my day. These Progs put him in, not just in the playoff race, but he could be like a fourth or fifth seed with this team. And it's young. None of his starters are over 30, and only one is over 26. So
It's satisfying to look at.
Yeah, Chicago, with the new logo. Hassan Green going down. That's not great, but overall, these aren't horrible Progs. It's not particularly positive ones.
Dang.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what lineup they run. Kawhi Leonard, his cap was saved, but Josh's cap was not. So.
Josh. Really. Ooh.
Yeah, but it could be worse. All right. So with that, we are going to go on to the next team. Cincinnati, Billy's team.
All right.
So Halenga stayed the same. That's kind of important to this team's success. Dedrick went down, but if I'm being honest, the fact that Stanley went up is pretty good, especially because I don't see there being any way Dedrick resigns. I mean, he's 100% signing with Vancouver at the end of the season, in my opinion. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Billy, but that's my personal thought.
Yeah, he can leave.
But overall, a lot of valuable pieces. Rashawn Foster going up. And like you look at this bench here, and they're all pretty promising pickups. And I'd be pretty happy with this, especially the Morgan Barber Prog is pretty solid. And Dante Cook is now definitely a really capable starter. You definitely could have a really solid team here, and I have a feeling Ocean Man is probably going to re-sign with you, being Stanley Hudson there. And if you can pick up a point guard like that, pass first point guard long term, especially when you have two really good scoring options in Cook and Halenga, you definitely could be a really great team. And Barber's just as athletic, and I think you're right. Oh, somebody's roboting hard. I don't know who that was, but somebody roboted real hard.
Check Barber's physicals.
Yeah, Barbara, he's really impressively talented as a guard. I mean, he is really the second coming of Josh Wade here. And just like Wade, I think that his defensive capabilities are going to be a really good fit alongside a pass first point guard. And I don't know if this year you're going to roll with Diedrich at point or Stanley at point, but whichever one you do, I mean, your team has added a lot, in my opinion, in terms of value. And Dusko is going to be a really solid – you can start him or have him off the bench. He's a really solid defensive piece. So I think this is a pretty solid offseason for Cincy. And with that, we go over to Cleveland. They're now under Tien's control. And this is a mixed bag here. They got some really good Progs from some middle of the road players for them, and they're probably not quite a playoff team here. But you have to I like a lot of these progs. Seeing these guys go up, they definitely are going to be able to maximize trade value and have a core if they want in the future. In terms of their starting lineup, George Moss and Riley going down is just disappointing. I don't think Moss has had a single positive prog his entire career. 61, 61. Oh no, he had one positive prog, right? Oh wait. Here we go. Yeah, he had one positive prog. Granted, his potential went down that season, but George Moss is just the cursed player. So that is unfortunate. Riley had an absolutely great season last year. We'll take a look. He averaged 20 points. I'm surprised he wasn't most improved player. He had a great season. But unfortunately, despite his absolutely phenomenal season, I don't know if he's going to be able to repeat it after going down 2 overall in progs. I mean, he definitely was a big winner of the last prog, so we'll see how that goes. Next up brings us to Dallas. So Big and Chunky had a amazing progs and is a superstar. Nico, any comments on that?
Whoa. I don't know what to say. I'm really happy for Chunky, though.
I'm happy for Chunky too, but I'm not so happy for your bench.
Well, that's fine because we need like one star.
Yeah.
Is what I find. So if Chunky becomes that star, then that's perfect.
Yeah. So overall, not too bad. And with that, we will go into the next team. Denver is up. So Corone going down is a little disappointing. AO went down. That's also unfortunate. Curtis went down, but you gotta like the future that they got here. Their bench is pretty bright. I don't know how Didi feels about this. It definitely could have been a little bit of a better off season. Prague gods weren't necessarily against, but they definitely weren't helping his long-term outlook here. But
Our guys hate Chicago, is all I'm saying.
any comments from Didi? Is Didi still here? I think Didi's still around. But we've had a lot of people join and a lot of people depart.
He's here.
Yeah, he's here. Let's see what he has to say. Oh, Didi says hold up. All right, we will hold up for a second for you. Sam Johnson with the positive progs here. 91 DIQ. Holy, that's insane. We'll take a look at Corone's stats just briefly. I'm probably going. If I just had to guess right now, I'm probably putting the in all my points into DIQ and rebounding. But yeah, you know how I am. So overall, not too bad progs. But a little disappointing on the stars. Yeah, Sam is probably a starter. You could definitely run some really great lineups with this setup. So it'll be interesting to see what you choose. Next up here is Detroit. So the reigning champions. Thunderbird became a superstar. But they don't really got a ton of depth. I think did they trade Derrick Jones? I don't know if they traded Derrick Jones yet. I thought they might have. But regardless, these aren't horrible progs for them. They definitely have like 2 legitimate superstars in their starting lineup, and whatever Anura gives you is always solid. So I think he's one of the few 11-year tenured players we'll see today. And next up is Edmonton. Wow, these are actually some really great progs from Edmonton. Vortex Matthews is looking like a future superstar. Tanner Giddings is looking like a superstar in the making. Kobe is going to continue to be a force. How many points did he average last season? He averaged 20.9 points last season. I definitely see this being an all-star season for Kobe. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Dallas Moore is definitely a solid center. I mean, this team is not bad by any stretch. This is probably a playoff team. Exandrew having a really solid season. All right. Next up is Flint. Carl Williams going up big time. Flint's got to be pretty happy with these progs. Especially having the cap go up a lot, Fletcher going up a lot. I mean, a lot of their offseason moves are really paying off here. And I think that this is just the progs you wanted to see. X-Ray Evans didn't really prog up. He went down pretty hard after a really good second half of the season last year for them, in which he shot 96% from free throw line, 44% from deep. But unfortunately, he might be reduced back into just a role player for them. We'll see how that goes. Next up here is Fort Worth. They got two solid players, but these progs are not great. In fact, these progs are really, really bad. Ultimately, they're probably going to be in purgatory once again this season. Because they're not awful. They're just not a playoff team by any stretch. On a good note, they're probably just a superstar away from a playoff run. On a bad note, they definitely need to add a superstar like fairly quickly, and they don't have a ton of assets to get one. Potentially moving Gary Miles and Seals together, maybe with Chris Gordon and a draft pick or two. But we'll see how they go about it here. Hawaii. All right. So Matt Bonner is going to be a beast. Scarn progged okay. Did Ty's contract get put in? I don't think Ty's contract got put in. 1 second. Ty's contract did not get put in. I'm going to have to put that in a second. Can somebody pull that up for me, so we can get that in?
Hey, there was a trade between Hawaii and Toronto as well.
I think that trade doesn't go. If somebody can pull up the details on that, so I can get that done real quick. But regardless, unless they traded JJ, if they traded JJ, they've made some highly unfortunate mistakes. I think Hughes.
I think they did trade JJ.
They traded JJ
and Weber for No Childs. And some other stuff I can't remember.
Yeah, we'll fix that right now. Okay, so Ty's 25 mil 4 years. Okay, we'll add that right now.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Oh, Hugh just sent me that, but if you can pull up the trade details.
Yeah, I can check it out. 1 second.
All right, he's on Hawaii. Sorry about that, guys. We're just, we're just human. We make mistakes. Is what it is. No big
Oh
deal.
wait, that did the right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it's the Hurricanes traded Brian Weber, Derek Roberts, and JJ, and the Toronto Raptors Huskies traded No Childs and Captain Crunchbell Bedford.
All right, so you guys are about to see Toronto's progs. I'm going to ask that we don't spoil them. Sorry about that, Toronto. It was Childs, you said?
Yeah, Childs.
So, what can you read off the Toronto stuff real quick?
Toronto?
Yeah.
With me?
Yeah, read off Toronto. What does Toronto send?
Toronto sends No Childs and Captain Crunch Bedford.
Yep. And what does Hawaii send?
1 second. They send Brian Weber, Derek Roberts, and JJ.
Is there any picks in the trade?
I don't think so. It doesn't look like it.
Cool. Done. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Now we'll take a real quick look at their team. So Childs is probably going to be pretty solid for them. Bonner he's a solid center as well. I think they actually all fit really well together, those four. David Jackson, even. I mean, this is a pretty cohesive unit. It's nice to see Allen Johnson actually having a solid career. And this is a deep team. And G Main is going to be a beast, and so is Conky Dong. So overall, not too bad. I'd be pretty hyped if I was G Man. I don't know. I don't think he's here at the moment. All right. Oh, okay. So there was another trade, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Detroit. Wait,
So
I'm talking about
Detroit,
Detroit.
Detroit and Toronto, right?
Yeah, I could trade that one out for me too.
Yeah. Hugh, I'll send you over the export, and you can just fix it real quick once we finish.
Yeah, I got
Prog.
you, man.
All right.
You want me
So
to? I'll put on the trades in for me too. That what you're saying?
yeah. So right now
I
we'll take
got
a
you.
look at Houston here. They had great progs. I mean, Luca Hughes is going up. Hugh, you're not allowed to rig progs. Come on. But unfortunately, Drazen does go down, and he's on a pretty sizable contract. And Willie going down. They're going to have a cap problem at the end of the season, like a significant cap problem. They'll probably have to do some cap dumping here. But they got some really great progs, and they have a lot of stuff to work with. This should be a pretty solid team. And seeing Jenkins go up is also really great for them. I mean, they're definitely going to be a solid team, in my opinion. All right. Next up, that brings us to Jacksonville. By the way, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on the logo, but I think it's pretty cool. Troy Neptune went up. He's going to be pretty great for them, I think. But unfortunately, Lancaster's former team, they're just going to be middle of the road again this season. They're not particularly bad, but these progs weren't particularly favorable to a lot of their veterans. But it's going to be interesting to see how great stats Troy can put up here, because he should be able to be their focus point on offense. So that brings us to Kansas City. They made the decision to bring in Bridges, but overall, this is not a particularly great spot. They're not in a horrible position here, as they do have 3 players over 60, plus Brian Scalabrine, but they definitely need to add some players, specifically in the guard spot. Currently, the only true point guard on their roster is Kevin Hart. Maybe Buckley, if you want to consider him, but he's more of a raw athletic talent, or the prospect Kestis, but they really need to add a guard. All right, that brings us to Kentucky. Karl Anthony Towns becoming the superstar he is not in DBL. Billy Bogues going up after scorning Denver. Nobby going up is great. Hubert going up. I mean, this is going to be a deep playoff team once again, but LaGello Ball going down a ton is a real hit. I mean, he was a big part of their team. Deckard too. They got killed in the cap department here. But overall, it's not a bad team by any stretch. And if I'm them, I'm fairly happy with these progs, with the exception of LaGello and Deckard really getting hit. These weren't too bad. I mean, whatever they get out of Calvin Lee is just a bonus at this point. His knees are shot. All right, Vegas. Owens is going to be a superstar, probably 30 points again this season. But the real story of the offseason is his starters all going up besides Miles, and this is still a deep team. Honestly, this could be a whole lot worse. This is a really solid progs for them, in my opinion, because they were a great team last season. All they needed to do was stay the same, and they just got a little bit better with their stars. So we'll see how that goes for them this year. Next up here is Mexico. Not particularly great progs. They have some really okay players in their starting lineup. Gilbert Zoff being one of those decade players is crazy to me. Didn't even realize he'd been in the league 10 years. But overall, these are like middle of the road progs for them. They do have to free up some cap space. They got several ways to do it. One would be moving Randy King, who's been on their team for 9 seasons. But overall, if I'm them, these Progs aren't great. It is time to start the rebuild. But you have a lot of expiring contracts, like Elias expires. So I wouldn't be too upset if I were them. All right. Next up is Miami. And well, Jay went up, McPherson went up, so I'd be fairly happy. But Kenny Clark has a no trade clause and is now ridiculously overpaid. They don't have like a true fifth starter. I mean, maybe they would want to throw in Venable over Martinez or potentially Bruce Woods, but they really don't have a fifth elite starter here. But they definitely do have a lot of their old championship core. And this is a solid B Kinney team. I'd say they're going to be a middle of the road team in the East, probably in the top 4 seeds, in my opinion. All right. So next up, that brings us to Milwaukee, not Montreal yet. Chat seems to want Montreal, and Milwaukee did not have the Progs that they wanted. Tide won't going down big time. And while Moore and Maybelline went up, Rice and Jones went down pretty hard. I mean, Rice we're going to be talking about as the all-time biggest free agent or contract bust in my book.
By the way, big news in DBL. If y'all want to clown me, y'all got a chance to for 24 hours, just ping the heck out of me. So I'm sad now. Just want to let y'all know that.
Next up here is all right. These are not great progs for Ramen. Somebody want to screenshot these? I think he had requested we screenshot them. I don't know if these will be taken by a camera because they're pretty ugly. They might break the camera. He has DeBerry, and Bennett could be okay, but these progs were not in his favor by any means. Pretty much everyone going down. Action Palmer is going to have to really step up to be the face of his team sooner rather than later. So we'll see how that goes. Montreal up next, and here they go. Axel going up 1, but the big story is Irv Miles going up 3. I mean, he's going to be absolutely insane. With Melo Ball going up big time, Berea going up, Devon Temple going up. I mean, a lot of these prospects going up, but they also here lost Ola Candy, Odin. I think they moved Hawkins for LeBron, right? I think Hawkins. Oh no, wait, they didn't move Hawkins for LeBron, right? Because LeBron hadn't signed yet. I don't know. Well, that's going to get sorted out, I imagine. I don't remember if they had Reiki still. I think there was some small trades that were missed here, but regardless, Irvin Miles going up. They have a legitimate megastar. He's probably going to be in the MVP race this season. He's also the type of player that could easily one day average a triple-double, 74 in rebounding. He's just a really all-around great player. And,
That's crazy.
Yeah, the sky's the limit for him. So we'll see how that goes. New Jersey up next. Jake King and Bill Russell are wow. Jake King consistently underperforms for his overall, but adding Bill Russell to the mix of superstars on this team is just absolutely ridiculous. Hughes Adams is still great. So is Wes White, and Chamberlain didn't really go down that much. This is a solid team. As per usual, New Jersey will be the favorite in the East, I think. I haven't really seen anyone else that I'd consider the favorite in the East. I don't know if you guys have. All right, that brings us to New Orleans. Wow. David McGillen, +8. All right. They have one of the best duos in the league, McGillen and Penny. McGillen's probably going to win Most Improved Player, maybe MVP, and he's 22, and he has over 80 potential, and he signed for another season. Yeah, if I'm Josh, I'm thrilled. These are just phenomenal progs for him. And even off the bench, getting 2 prospects to prog up. I mean, if I was in his shoes, the first thing I would do would be getting on the Discord DMs here and trying to work out a trade, because realistically, you trade Bunny and Williams with a guy like DeBerry's contract and the cap space he's got, you can pull in a superstar to put next to Penny and McGillen and have a legitimate mega 3. So that brings us to New York here, and New York is, in my opinion, one of the more underrated teams. Big Shot Billups, Diamond Johnson, Baptiste, who I think might have gotten moved, are all pretty solid. Billups is going to probably be the franchise centerpiece going forward at the point guard spot. It's going to be interesting to see when you look at their all-time team, who ends up being the greatest point guard in franchise history. Will it be Billups or Max Powers? It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. That brings us to Pittsburgh. Carmelo is probably never going to live up to his contract, but wingman breaking out could be great. Lonzo is going to put up some pretty solid stats this year, I imagine. Hey, look, did I do anything last season? I got 2 points. I'll take it. The G Wood. Progging okay. All right. Ultimately, I don't think it's too bad. Yeah. All right. So next up brings us to Providence. Wow. This is a mixed bag, but I think for the first time in years, if Ricky's team does not make the playoffs, it will be a complete upset. BJ Green is great. He has a lot of solid players. A lot of his prospects prog good. If I'm being completely honest, I don't really know how this team could miss the playoffs. Like, even if Fears going down and Wiltshire going down is fine, because they have 3 other really solid players and they're just deep, like really deep. This is going to be a solid team. It's going to be interesting to see how they do. All right, that brings us over to San Diego here. And San Diego with Dedrick going down, Knicks going down, Pearson staying the same. Beasley got killed here, but a lot of their bench going up. They're now deeper than they've been in a long time, including Sir Swaginson's being saved. It's going to be interesting to see how this team does. I'm curious how Beasley performed last season. He's basically just a passing specialist. He didn't perform badly. Actually, fun fact, I think Beasley's like 3rd in all-time assists or something like that. And frankly, his style of play, I don't see him like declining that quickly. And even at 47, I think he could potentially get like 7 or 8 assists. He might actually be like one of the all-time greatest passers in ABA history, which is just ridiculous. So, all right, next up we go over to San Francisco. They got the big offseason acquisition of Ginn, a hotly contested subject. But they definitely now have a pretty solid starting lineup. They're fairly deep, but not incredibly deep. They'll probably have to move Gazaka to add some depth, but this is definitely a solid playoff team now. Ginn's going to really soak up the big man minutes. That was one of the big reasons he came here. He's going to be the franchise centerpiece. So, all right. That brings us over to Seattle. Hopkins going down is not great, but the ageless wonder of Matt Pitts is still going strong at 43 years old, still over 60. Good progs from his other 2 starters. I mean, this might be one of the best top 7 in the league. They just need to add some depth, and they're a really solid team. We'll go to St. Louis here. Wow. KG. Somebody has audio from Uncut Gems, by the way, phenomenal movie. Now would be the time to play it. Felipe Santos. Oh my God, I memed on him last season, and look at what happened. Never meme on Felipe. He is going to be an absolute beast this year. I shouldn't have named on Philippe. All right. You learn your lessons, I suppose. This team has a lot of potential. They might be in the best spot that St. Louis has ever been in. I mean, Garnett and Philippe is a really bright duo. And they still have Little Rye hanging around. We'll see how he did last season. Not great. Yeah. They basically just have him as like a cap dump. Looks like. All right, next up here, Tampa Bay. Bogan went down, but Andreas going up, Chenault going up, Sims going up. Honestly, this isn't a bad starting four. Foster might have one of the worst contracts in the league, but they got some solid prospects hanging around here. If they wanted to move him, CJ Evans at 41 is still in the league for some reason. He honestly, in my opinion, should have retired a while ago. Probably would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I don't know if a guy that averaged a career 14 points per game and only started 400 of 800 games should be in the Hall of Fame. Like, I think every game he plays, he actively hurts his Hall of Fame chances. Is what it is, though. Next up brings us to Toronto. The continued decline of flight time. I believe they moved Brian Weber, though, and they got Zion Jajaeus. Oh, and yeah, they did move Weber, but they got Zion Jajaeus, and he's probably going to be their superstar going forward. If I'm them, I'm pretty excited. They get to build around Zion. I want to see how he does. For those that aren't aware, he is statistically was one of the worst players in the league the last 2 seasons. Like his rookie season, he was absolutely abysmal as a shooter. He's one of the worst free throw shooters in ABA history. He's not particularly a plus big man defensively. He's good at stealing, but he's not particularly great. Oh boy. Oh, the nerf is coming. Oh no, he only progged well in IQ. Oh no. Oh no. I'm gonna let Hugh take care of that, but that's unfortunate for him. All right. Next up brings us to Utah. They only have 7 players on their roster. I think they're making moves or already made a move. I'm not positive. But Jaden Hasbro.
They traded LeBron, by the way.
Yeah, I thought so. Jaden is probably going to be their franchise centerpiece. I mean, he's really proving to be a late bloomer here. I don't see any way in which he averages less than 20 points this season. He was an all-star for his first time last season. He's probably going to be another time all-star this year, maybe be in the MVP race. As weird as that sounds, because Jaden, he was looking like he was just going to be a solid starter, and now he's looking like he might be a MVP candidate. That's insane. All right. And Vancouver, well, Banks died from MVP to 49 in 4 seasons. Oh, well, 6 seasons. But yeah, 6 seasons from prime to end of career, basically. I don't even know if he's going to get a contract after this one. He basically, after missing 2 seasons with injury and then playing good but not great, he then became like an every game starter. He's really fallen off the cliff these last few seasons since his like one phenomenal season. So yeah, I guess he's going to be known as the Derrick Rose of ABA. Aaron Bull progged up too. That's pretty cool. And with that, we go on to the next team. I think this is the last team, Washington, right? Yeah, Washington. So Madara progging down, but David West staying solid, Maven staying solid, gives them actually a pretty solid core 5. This is definitely like a playoff starting lineup. I don't know if they're going to add more depth. They probably should. Now we'll take a quick look at free agents and then team ratings. So free agency-wise, I don't know if some of these guys might have gone signed here. We'll take a look. Zach Lovelace being a 53. There's not really a ton out there. think
I
Moda,
offered Lovelace in free agency. I just want to let you know that.
all right, a few of these guys might have actually already been signed. Hugh will have to clear that up. But in terms of value here, I see Moda, Lovelace, I suppose Bailey, Anthony Cunningham, all should probably be on rosters. Mackey probably as well. It's actually a really thin free agency class. I can totally see Isaiah Montgomery playing for his fourth team or something. Actually, just third. That's crazy. But we'll see how that goes. Anyway, this has been a pretty cool Progs. We'll take a look real quick at power rankings. So early season, it looks like it's going to be New Jersey, Hawaii, but they might be adjusted. Montreal. Ultimately, I think it's going to be in the East. New Jersey looks like they're by far the best team, with Boston in second, Detroit in third, and I'd say that's pretty accurate. And then Kentucky and Cincy all in there. But it's going to be an interesting season. I'm very excited. So with that, I'm going to export the league here, and I'm going to upload that over. Hugh's going to make some changes and then publish that out. I'll be
I
uploading
got
this
it, man.
video
I think I got
shortly.
it.
I think Hugh DM'd and said he had it. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Hugh's got that. No biggie. All right. So I'm just going to upload that real quick, and I think I'll end the video here. Thanks, guys.